Fox 29 Philadelphia, who joins us from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Hank, how are you this morning?
I'm doing all right, Regina. Thank you for having us on News Now. This is exciting.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you.
We are at Steam. We're at Steam Pub in Southampton. That's Bucks County. And what I want to do is run through some of the different measures, and you've seen them in your town as well, that restaurants are going through to bend over backward in order to stay relevant, just to stay in business right now in what's typically a good money season between Christmas and New Year's. I was a waiter once. I was a bartender once. We used to clean house this time of the year, even bank money, put it aside. Right now, a tenth, maybe a fifth of the bartenders and waitresses are working. They're doing their best. Right now, I can show you this, right? This is the quick stop takeout beer and wine room. You can go in here when the restaurant itself is not open and buy beer and wine. The restaurant owner told me this place was completed about a month before the COVID hit, and he said if that were not the case, he might have been up the creek. This little room in here that is partitioned off by rented tent walls, this is where the owner hopes people will come, and here's one of these $300 heaters, will come, buy their six-packs, sit and drink a beer. It's a long shot. Wouldn't you rather do it at home? I would too, but they're trying to keep people here. Out here, that tent over there, Regina, you're looking at what now passes as the dining room for this particular restaurant. Typically here at Steam Pub, they'll do 250 dinners on a New Year's Eve, a full bar scene. It's a restaurant with a bar made out of a train car, big facility, good times, but that tent over there will be the New Year's Eve scene. 8 to 10 tables inside, maybe 40 people, 1 or 2 waiters when there would have been dozens running around on a typical New Year's Eve. Here, there'll just be a couple, not making nearly as much money, not serving as many dinners, and everyone just trying to hang on until the vaccines get around and we can get more back to normal. That COVID stimulus money, the president did sign that stimulus yesterday, Regina. $900 billion sounds like a lot of money until you realize that it's going around everywhere, and there's a lot of people who are going to be living on just that unemployment right now. And restaurant workers, Regina, they a lot of times don't file taxes on the tips that they make, so they wind up being a little lower on the scale for unemployment, making less money on unemployment than they would have already. But there's a lot to talk about, Regina.
I was going to say, going off of that topic, you know, this relief bill will help unemployment benefits for millions of Americans. Does the unemployment benefits work the same for restaurant owners?
Right. For restaurant owners, it depends. They are owners after all. As they say, it takes money to make money. Most restaurant owners either have enough to get a restaurant started. As an owner, you're working a different thing. Restaurant workers, however, waiters, bartenders, a lot of their income winds up coming in cash. So it's down to their discretion and their word of honor how much of it they want to claim on their tax returns. A lot of them don't claim as much as they make for understandable reasons. They're trying to keep some money instead of paying it to the government. It's cheating on your taxes, but what it also does is keep them at a certain level so they don't register as making as much money as they would have otherwise. So when they do get unemployment, they get less than they would have. And that's according to the owner here, who we've spoken with extensively.
And now, Hank, you said that you were a bartender, a waiter. I was too for several years of my life. What would you be doing in a situation like this?
I dread to even imagine, Regina. I was once an actor. You're going back 30 years. And tending bar at night, waiting tables at night, allowed me to go to auditions during the day, go to school, do all the things that you couldn't do during the day if you were working. That's what tending bar and waiting tables at night allows you to do. Yeah, you lose some sleep, but what young person doesn't? What would I be doing now without unemployment? I would probably be working 3 or 4 different jobs. I'd probably be working in landscaping. Right now, I'd be going hand over fist to grab any gig that I could just to keep food in my mouth and a roof over my head.
And Hank, you mentioned New Year's Eve. This is such a huge time for bars and restaurants having sit-down dinners. You pay one price, you get the meal, the drinks. How are restaurants, especially in Pennsylvania with curfews and restrictions, taking a hit this New Year's Eve?
Regina, they say that necessity is the mother of all invention, and these times are times of necessity. So when I talked to Marty, the owner here, basically he says communicate with him as a diner. Tell him what you need. Again, you can look around here and see the signs. I don't want to call it desperation, but there's tents that are rented, set up in the parking lot because they're not allowed to have indoor dining. Pennsylvania doesn't allow indoor dining until the 4th of January, and that's for now. With the COVID numbers staying high, Regina, there's every chance that the governor will push that deadline further down the road. You can see $300 gas burners here, propane burners, a propane table, this rented tent side. Owners trying things out, throwing money at the problem, trying to make it work. But the owner here, Marty, says please communicate with him. He had turkey dinners for takeout on Christmas, anything that they can do that they feel like will get you, the customer, in the door to buy dinner, drinks to go. They're licensed for that here. You want to get cocktails to go? You can get that. You can get anything you want. The question is, do you as the diner, are you willing to come here and get your takeout? Do you want it delivered? You've never had more options as the diner. The restaurant owner and the workers here, they've got fewer. So it's a buyer's market, at least as far as getting food is concerned, but it's never been a tougher time here on restaurants. And I love eating in restaurants. I wonder about the year ahead, Regina.
I do too. Well, Hank Flynn with Fox 29 Philadelphia, thank you so much for joining us with that live report. You have a happy new year.
Thank you. You do the same. Thanks for having me.
Again, a huge thank you to our sister stations for taking live reports with us.